Hi everyone, my name is Buto and I'm the CEO of GIDA Incorporated. GIDA is essentially a technology platform that is activating the luggage and payment plan sector in Nigeria.
I'm Ambassador Moses Kolawole Obishosa. I'm the CEO of Stratech Properties Limited.
What's the mission of Stratech right now?
The vision of Stratech is basically to be the foremost real estate brokerage firm in Africa. Real estate brokerage firm in Africa. And if you cascade down that's to the mission, there are three things that we're trying to achieve, in being able to achieve that. The first one is actually to be able to push out 1 million homes to Nigeria.
Yeah, is this where this comes from?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 1 million homes to Nigeria in the next 10 years. Now, carefully, in that getting 1 million homes to Nigeria, it was born out of the gap in the housing, housing deficits that exists in Nigeria.
28 million.
Yeah, well, there's a whole lot of numbers that are being brandished, but the truth is there are millions of Nigerians who are homeless.
Yeah.
And if you want to, it's not rocket science. You want to check that? Just go up the hill there at Mpape. Mpape is actually a disaster waiting to happen. Millions of Nigerians are living like, pardon my words, like animals. Not organized place. Everybody is doing anything. You can't drive anywhere. You can't go anywhere. It's a pitiable case. Bad, not or no organized setting and all of that. So millions of Nigerians are living like that. That is not that. When we say there's housing deficit, we're talking about place that there is decent for human beings to live. That's what we're saying, and that's one. Go and if you see in Abuja, you see pockets of slums. In Gariki, you have Gariki 2 slum. In Guaripa, there's a slum. They call it Guaripa village, but it's a slum there. Yeah. If you go to Mabushi, there is a slum there. If you go to what's it called, Utakwan, everywhere in Abuja that just started, slum is growing at a faster speed than we are building the houses. Yeah, it's growing and it's been checked. Actually, if you take an image from the satellite, you see when Abuja started, a lot of green, areas and all of that. But right now, slum is fast catching up with that, and the rate at which we are doing the construction is slower. So it's been projected that in a few decades to come, you won't recognize Abuja anymore. That is the city center that started right now. If government does not do something very fast. If you go to Lagos, there was actually a short stop that was done in Lagos. Go under the bridge of Ojuelegba. Over 500 Nigerians sleep under that bridge every night. And so we tell people that, Ministry of Housing, you can say whether we don't have up to 20-something million housing deficit. That's fine. But the ones we have, what are we doing about it? Yeah. You understand? So for me, it's really there is a huge challenge, in housing deficit, and we cannot continue like that. So that's what gave rise to home ownership. A million home. Yeah. And when we say 1 million home, not necessarily that Stratech got to construct all the 1 million. Yeah. But what we are doing differently, is that we are talking with our colleagues. We're coordinating certain things, because we realize in Maitama there are several houses that are not occupied. Yeah. So it now means that some developers are developing houses that are not really meeting the needs of Nigerians, of the people. So what Stratech is doing is a little more than just the regular, the regular construct a house, look for buyers and all of that. No, we're going a little further than that. So what we're doing now is we're doing 3 things. First of all, we are constructing our own houses
Yes.
by ourselves, and
Yeah.
we have certain sites that are running. Then apart from that, we have partnership with other developers that were saying, okay, you know what, because of strategic positioning, some of the houses we want to construct, for instance, we have a project in Taraba. We may not be the best to go to Taraba to construct, so we have partners that to make that happen. We have a project in Benue. We may not, moving the entire construction team and all there. We have a company that we want to work together to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But we also have the ones that we are also helping the developers who are our colleagues to say, you know what, we give them certain information to guide them on the kind of houses to build. And we have those such strategic partnership with such developers to say, why do you want to do 5-bedroom? Why not 3? Why not 2? Why not even 1?
To meet the
You know,
to
so that they can
deficit.
so that you can solve the deficit. Some people just go construct a house, then they are looking for the buyers. I say no. So, let's reverse. Let's do the reverse. Let's first of all get the needs of the off-takers, and then bring it to the developers and say these are the houses that people need, that people are looking to buy. Young Gen Zs, they can't afford all of these big Maitama houses and all of that. So what we're just saying is, no, don't do that one. Do this. It will meet the. In fact, we aggregate off-takers now. We have huge bank of our off-takers. So when we are talking to any developer, we're saying we have off-taker for X number of units on this, on that. So if you want to develop and you have land bank somewhere, do this, and then we'll take them. We'll off-take them.
You already have off-takers.
We have off-takers. We have large.
So essentially, what Stratech is doing is, instead of doing what other developers are doing, which is essentially building for the high end of the market. You're building for the midpoint of the market and the low point of the market. Where the deficit really exists. In one end. It's not that we have high-end projects, but there are very few. What we've done is to actually put all of this in strata to say, how many Nigerians need the low end? We look at an average of the percentage of Nigerians that actually want the low end. We look at the average of Nigerians that need the middle range property. Then we look at the microscopic number that need the high-end stuff. For instance, inside a million home, maybe we're looking at maybe about 900,000 to actually be low end. As much as that. Then the middle end can be like maybe 90,000. 90,000. Then why the high end can just be like 10. That's about 1% of the 1 million.
That's what we're saying. We're saying that is actually the people who need 10,000 high end, luxury homes. Fantastic. That is why you have unoccupied houses, because now people have done the reverse. They've done high end so much. The medium range is really not there. Very few. And they want to push these people down. They say, no, I can't afford it. How many Nigerians can afford a 100 million house?
Not many.
Not many. I'm telling you, even in the city of not many can afford a 100 million house. And so you got to come down to what they can afford.
Meet the people where they are.
Meet the people where they are. For instance, Stratech can say that one of our properties that we sell is about the cheapest. In fact, the former vice president, Yemi Oshibajo, was actually at a site that our partner, is doing, at Massacre, and to commission it. A unit of self-contained goes for, as at that time, it was 2.9 million naira. Now, when a private person is doing 2.9 million naira, even federal government, Ministry of Housing couldn't do that. They were doing about 7 million at that time. Currently, it's actually going for about 4.7. You understand what I'm saying? These are private people who bought the house, who actually bought land, pay all of the blah, blah, blah. Get the loan. Get the loan at
commercial rates.
Commercial rates.
Which are...
You understand? Which is
extremely
expensive. So what we are saying is that I think government with developers really need to work together to churn out houses that Nigerians can buy. Some of those houses Nigerians can afford them.
We can't keep just satisfying the top end of the market. We need to work for the median and low end of the market.
Okay.
So how do you identify opportunities in real estate markets?
It's everywhere. I think again, it's an issue of the experience. If, like I told you, even though by the time we registered in CAC being in 2009, but we took some time before we actually go into very major projects. Our major project started only about 3-4 years ago. Yeah, we just started that. That's when we launched the shop project, Stratech Home Ownership Plan shop, which is actually to address the 1 million home. We didn't just get into the market and then jump and start running out everywhere. Initially, we started by managing the structure, like where we are right now. Stratech manages this building, and then we also started by, first of all, testing the market to see what people wanted, and then before we actually now understood that there is a place for cooperation. There's a Stratech can't by itself alone just start and then build 1 million home. You're managing it, you're selling it, you're selling it. Now we realize that there's a lot that we can do by partnership. There's a lot we can do even by cooperating with other people, by even essentially telling what we do. For instance, we have something coming up in Lokogoma. We just told the developer, no, this is what you should build. If you build it, we're going to off-take it. Yeah. Because we have off-takers who wants that. Yeah. So the guy is changing his design totally. He was just building the detached houses. I said, who is going to afford this thing? Detached houses, they can't afford it. And when I'm talking about average people, I'm talking about the doctors. We have quite large number of doctors that we deal with. I mean, that are our clients. So if doctors cannot afford houses, how many professionals in Nigeria? Because in Nigeria, one of the highest paid people, as far as whatever, are the doctors and a few other
people in tech.
You understand what I'm saying? But if they cannot afford it, and because we do what we call affordability check. 1/3 of your annual earnings is what should go for your home ownership. Now, if it's stretching, maybe it stretches to about 50% of what you earn. If it's going beyond that, it's going to actually have a major effect on how you manage your family. Yeah. But that's why usually we tell people, look, take advantage of the opportunity to own a home, especially as it's been given, being supported by the government with the mortgage. Mortgage 6%. I'm telling people, I said, if you are thinking about any national cake that you can lash in, your national cake is to make sure that you get a mortgage.
And when you say mortgage, you mean National Housing Fund?
National Housing Fund. Get a National Housing Fund, 6%. You will never get it after your. Some people are regretting. I met one justice like that's retired. She spent 35 years in active service. She retired. She never had a house on her own. When I asked her, I said, why did it take you so long, ma? Active service, all of that. He said, yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Obisheson. Maybe if I've met you, I would have been. They gave her a big house while she was the judge, while she was doing all of that in this FCT. Yeah. But thereafter, few months after, they threw her out. Wow. Because yes, they threw her. In fact, when they were counting days for her, I said, wow. And they gave her a massive house in city center. She couldn't. I mean, she could. About four sitting rooms and all of that. That she was she was actually managed. I mean, that was given to her and all of that. I said, wow, you can't possibly be left like this, So we ran around to first of all get a house to rent. Now we're looking at how she can buy a house. But when you are retired, look, your income dips from 100 to like 20%. Yeah. I tell anybody, before you retire is what you're supposed to actually get a home. Once you've retired, your income dips, and then you can't be getting a home and paying it in retirement. So the plan of federal mortgage is that you buy a home
while you're actually earning income and able to.
While you're young. Maybe I tell people that the best time to buy a house is when you're 30, 40, so that you have long range of time to pay. 30, 40 years to pay. Right? Currently, they give you about 30 years, or when you achieve the 60 years mandatory retirement age. But again, they are reviewing that 60 years for some industries. The lecturers, to 65. The medical and what's it called now? The judiciary. Some of those are whatever. So I tell people, buy a home on time. It mustn't be your your dream house. No, it mustn't be your dream house. Buy a home first. I tell people, I say a home is like buying a small cow. It keeps growing. Even while you're playing, the guys keep growing. After a while, the guy grows so large that the guy can actually give birth to other baby cows. You understand what I'm saying? Now the same thing. If you buy just a house that you can afford at 30, maybe just a room self-con, like we're talking about 4.7. I was telling you earlier, I said a 4.7 million naira, you were asking me how much should somebody earn or which Nigerians can, and anybody who earns 50,000 can buy a home if the person start it early.
Yeah.
Because a 50,000 naira home, salary over 30 years, what we're just going to be paying is less than 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira is what you're going to be paying.
Per month.
Now, and you're earning 50. So you still have, and that's the 10,000 in 50 is just 20% of your salary. You are still very good. And that home will be giving you rental income. Please, I'm not telling you that the home you are buying that you must be able to live there. No, there are people who strategically the location of your house is better for them. In Massacre, we have bankers who are staying around there. If it is your house, they will pay you good money if you've cleaned up the house enough for them, and they will give you money to buy a house in the place in your location that you love. If, for instance, you say, "Oh, where I work is in Kubwa, I don't want to buy a house in Massacre," I say, "I'm not telling you to go and stay there." The elite understand this. That's why a Nigerian can be here and buy a house in Dubai. They are here, they buy because they understand that they don't need to stay there. They're just looking at, I can get rental income, I can get business done in that way. The same thing. Buy a house in Massacre, 4.7, pay through the mortgage. That house, the rent will be used for your own rent. Meanwhile, there is appreciation. The 4.7 million house, just less than a year, about 6 months ago, just till late last year, we were still selling for 2.9 million naira.
And now it's what, 4.7?
4.7. So if you own that house, and if you own such house, it's giving you rental income, it's appreciating. In the next 1 or 2 years, you can be hearing, in just a few years' time, you can be hearing there's 10 million. The way our exchange rate and whatever is good, the house will just worth 10 million naira. And so, if you are still waiting, 2.9 you missed it, 5 million you missed it, you meet it in front by 10 million naira. Yeah. And I tell you, if you check, the rate of growth of house is faster than the inflation. People don't get it. By the time you add, I'm talking about house now, not land. Land will only give you appreciation value, but a house will give you rental income plus the appreciation value. So it makes it easier for you to be able to really recoup your whatever. I usually give people the rule of the thumb that any property you are buying, by my analysis, you should pay it off in 10 years. And I'll give you the very simple stuff. In 10 years, that any house you're buying, you should be able to pay it off in 10 years. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you're buying a house for, let's say, 5 million, the rental that you should that should come in for the house could be like 500,000. Or even if it is 4, even if it is 3, to start. But it should quickly improve that in 10 years, if you aggregate all that you collect every year, it should amount to the price of the house. Yeah. So that's what I tell anybody. Okay, 350 is what they are renting, no problem. After a while, after 2-3 years, it moves to 450, no problem. It moves to 650. By the time you aggregate the 10 years, whatever, it should give you that far. So if you do that rule of thumb, then you're buying right. But that does not apply to luxury houses. Yeah. Okay.
Before you can know your spouse for time and you have another meeting.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you a few more questions.
Yeah.
So one of the things you spoke about the mortgage sector.
Yeah.
What are the trends you see in the real estate market today?
Basically, Nigerians want the houses, but I really need to challenge the current president, President Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. Please improve the what's it called now? Improve the capital in mortgage, so that more Nigerians can actually, more Nigerians can take advantage of it. I think it's pretty small. I'm hoping that maybe Nigerians who understand what I'm talking. Nigerians who have actually played in the mortgage industry, like the former, the architect Dangiwa, who was there. Maybe if he's also being appointed right now as a minister. Whether they can make him minister for housing, I don't know. I don't know what Tinubu has done. But someone who understands the industry. If you can now move from being FMBN whatever to the honorable minister for for housing, maybe we'll be able to understand the pain and what I'm talking about here. That's number one. So I would say, please increase the capital base of the mortgage. Then also we need to find a way to pass the foreclosure law. Basically, what that is ability to be able to sell and buy and sell properties. That is not ending. Somebody is not just tying down a house and then you cannot. House should be like goods that you can sell and buy and sell and buy. That it should be business.
Yeah.
But unlike this one, that somebody will just come and then you are taking it to court back and forth. No, you can't continue. We can't continue in that trajectory. So it's really slowing down all that we're doing.
What role do you see technology playing in all of this?
Fantastic. That's why I engage you. When we met at the Abuja, Africa International Housing Show, and I heard what you're trying to do, trying to put all that we're doing physically and offline, that you're trying to put them online. That's fantastic. Technology will speed up. I told you, it will speed up what we do like crazy, especially for Nigerians outside the shores of this country, because they've got capacity, but they've not found a credible. The major challenge we have in the industry is credibility of a lot of developers. Some developers they lack credibility. Nigerians key into their scheme after paying over several years. The houses are not delivered and all of that. Because right now we are in the forefront battling that with certain colleagues who are messing Nigerian up. Who say, no, this cannot be. How could people pay you full payment and then the houses are not there? So that's the challenge in its own. But the opportunities are there for technology where you can actually double check. One can give more Nigerians opportunity to be able to seamlessly access, both mortgage and houses that are available. Even the credibility of developers can be ascertained. We can look at their credibility.
So you think like some of the problems in the sector. Yeah. Do you think a solution like what GIDA is offering actually solves those problems?
It solves a quite large chunk of it. Maybe not all, because it's still going to be. You need a whole lot of collaboration to make that work. Definitely. I told you that when we had issues, we had to approach EFCC, we approach whatever, because we're saying no, this cannot continue in this industry. So there's still going to be a load of collaboration that you need to come up with. But what I'm saying is that it opens the space for those who can't be here physically to be able to come into the space to buy a house. Somebody who is living in US, UK, and all that. They have a platform, in GIDA to be able to really, log in and be able to see properties. Everybody bringing properties on the platform. They can see opportunities to be able to buy the locations and all of that. So it opens the space. But when it comes to scrutinizing the credibility, you must do more. You must work with a whole lot of regulating agencies. I love what you said, working with the REDAN, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, working with all kinds of bodies that will checkmate the excesses of whatever. So it's really important, to be able to relate. Yeah.
My final question. I have two questions for you. One of my questions is, if you're 28 years old today, what would be your approach to buying a home?
The law allows you to buy a home even when you're 20. When you're above 18, the law allows you. So 21, 20, 28 is a fantastically ripe age. If you want to buy a home when you're 28, I will tell you that, you see, Nigerians still believe in cash down. And so somebody can tell you, I don't have the money for a house. No, I'm not telling you to have the money. If you can rent it, you can buy it. It needs to be in your mind. If I can rent it, I can buy it. It's just now, you now need to add to is knowledge. That, okay, I can rent this apartment. How can I buy it? Simply put, we're saying at 28, you have over 30 years ahead of you. Active service. And we're saying, let's know what you earn, what's your salary. We are assuming that you are working. So you must have a job.
Definitely, but I wanted to picture it like you. What will be your frame of mind in terms of how you're thinking about the different steps you need to take?
The first thing is I have a job. The next thing is just for me to, let's know how much you earn per month. Okay, then once we know that at 28, that means you have at least 30 years. So we will now be able to see, okay, do I
So that means it seems like you're going on a mortgage.
you are thinking that we should look at having your money outrightly to buy,
No. I'm just
payment
saying,
plan.
No, if you're a 28-year-old, let's say Mr. Kola was 28 years old today, and you have the knowledge you have.
Yes.
How would you buy a house?
I'll go through mortgage.
Why?
Let me tell you something else. Even if I have cash to buy a house down, why am I buying one? Why? When there is a leverage, the mortgage is actually a leverage. When there's a leverage that I can really lash in to pick a house for minimal interest rate, 6%. You can't have 6% any other place. Don't get me wrong. If I have cash that I want to buy, I would rather take that money and spread it on different houses and buy more than one, so that I can have rental. I can be enjoying rental income while I also have one that maybe I want to live in. If they are in locations that I choose to live, because if I live in cities where I want to buy a house where I'm not living, that's fine. You can buy to get rental income and then to have appreciation.
Yeah.
So I am saying that, yeah, that's one. You can go to, people tell me mortgage is not easy. I know that it's not easy, because millions of Nigerians are chasing small amounts. I understand. But I'm saying start the journey. So you leave that one there. Then you can now also approach, the second one will be buying with payment plan. Payment plan means some developers can tell you, okay, this house I can give it to you and then you pay over 10 years. So go and pick such and then be paying over 10 years. I still have developers who are selling houses in Abuja here.
10 years?
10 years, yes, 10 years.
Wow.
I don't want to mention names of developers, but
you don't want to market anybody.
I don't know. I'm trying not to market them, but I mean, kudos for them to have been able to give. And several of my friends, several people have bought houses, like that in Abuja here. They give mortgage,
And a developer payments plan is 0%. Yeah, you don't pay interest on it, do you?
Well, they will say you don't pay interest on it, but they have calculated that over time. Because again, if somebody has gone to the bank to build a house and is paying over the next 10 years, it may not flash the interest that you pay to your face, but they are saying this is what you're going to be paying per month. The main thing is that they have helped you to get the house. To get the loan, and they built the house. So they are just helping you to concentrate, to just say, look, if you earn this and you can pay this, then this house is yours. Okay. Just like somebody, like FMBN is doing right now. He's talking about.
And FMBN is the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
Federal Mortgage Bank, yeah. So he's just talking about rent to own. And so people can actually pick up a house and stay there, and over time, over the next 10 years, they paid off and it's their house. So for me, I'm just thinking, if you're 28 and you want to think mortgage first, think payment plan, think Stratech has some partner banks. Think of getting a loan with a bank at very reasonable price. Buy the house, because the rate that you are seeing, even with that bank, let's say a bank charges 30% per annum. If you have your small amount and you borrow the balance and you buy a house can grow in more than 50% worth right now. Because if you check the appreciation and you check the rental income, if you put the two together, it's over 50% every year. So the rate of growth,
interesting way to look at it.
Yes, the rate of growth of the house you bought is faster, even with the crazy interest rate. It's still faster than it. I'm telling you, a house that we sold, whatever, is only by 100% growth.
Yeah, it's grown by more than 100%.
Yeah, so that's why I tell anybody, I say it's still better for you to buy a house and for you to grow.
Okay. So last thing before we leave, where can people find out about your properties, and where can they find you? I know we're going to go on a tour.
Yeah,
we're going on a tour very soon.
Sure. So basically, Stratech and its partners, we have properties in quite a number of locations. Number one, you can get something, in Kubwa. We have an estate in Kubwa there that we're selling, and we also have in Karasana. For those who know Abuja, majorly our estates are in Abuja here. Yeah. So you have in Kubwa, you have Karasana, you have in Lifecam, you have in the Jew, you have in Lokogoma Axis, and then you have something in Apo, you have in Katampi Extension. We have quite about 10 locations right here in
Abuja.
Abuja, so
And-
that you can have our houses.
And all these properties, are they accessible through payment plans and mortgages?
Sure. We have payment plan. I can make that available to you. You can pay over a period of a year. You can pay over a period of 2 years. You can, with our partner banks now, you can also extend that payment to about 5 to 10 years, because we help you to get your equity. We help you to actually to access funds to buy your house. What we're trying to do is for people just to be very, very reasonable, to just say, look, this is what you can get. Stop wishing that you have your dream home. Buy a house that is manageable, that you can afford. But because we're going to do affordability check and all of that before you access your house. But there are houses for all Nigerians. I tell you, if you're earning 50,000 and above, you can own a home. Even in the city, even in Abuja, that people will rent and stay and give you rental. And the faster you do it, the better for everybody.
That's awesome. So thank you very much, Mr. Kola. It was great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
So before we finish, I'd like to say one thing. At GIDA, our mission is to enable young Africans to own their first home before their 40th birthday. Yeah. Working with people like Stratech properties to make that possible. So thank you. And you can find us on GIDA Inc. On LinkedIn and Twitter, Instagram, and you can also check our website, gida.com, GIDDAA.com. And we have an AI chatbot where you can play around with that chatbot. It teaches people about the mortgage and payment plan industry in Nigeria and also gives you recommendations on properties you can afford. And you can find Stratech properties at stratechproperties.com.
Yeah.
And thank you.